No, Nigel's been a wonderful gentleman, and he's brought me a bouquet of feathers. Thank you. A lucky getaway for a pheasant. Naughty. What are you going to do with them? Lovely colours. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Just dumping them all over me, thank you. Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Making a mess. Just throw them. Yeah. Poor pheasant's going to have a sore bum now. Come on.
So here he is, 16 weeks old, bred locally from really good stock. We're talking, I believe the parents were F1 from Robin Hay Original Imports. So a good bird, and a good bird flying at a good weight. And his job was to do just about everything. Bought from my Raptor Exotics business at its inception. Look at him here. Typical first year Harris Hawk, having a shower, soaked through, very little waterproofing compared to a lot of the more European birds, I guess. But his job was to be trained for everything. Beautiful, look at this. Soaring Harris Hawks, one of the best birds on high windy days. If you're just a woodland edge or a tree line to give them lift, or slope soaring, fantastic birds. He'd fly to anyone. So one of his jobs was bird abatement, and that included gull control off local warehouse roofs, a massive problem, so he'd clear those away. And inside the warehouses, getting rid of the pigeon population. He really did it all, and when people say this bird is bomb-proof, that was his job, and that's what happens when the job's done regularly. There's actually very little to do, inside or out. A good, successful bird abatement team really do fix the problem as long as it's a regular workload. Look at him flying across the roofs there. It's a handsome devil. Look at this. So they fly all the way through the racking with the busy fork trucks and so on and so forth. I think this is, yeah, Kyle's flying him here, I believe. He'd fly to anyone. He'd do Falconry experience days, hunting days for Mike when he ran Icarus Falconry, and of course the show circuit all over the country. Funnily enough, the first show of the year in sort of Easter time, if there were dogs around the arena, I'd have to get his weight down to £1.7.5 just to get him moving that first show of the year with the dogs. But then he'd be flying. His average flying weight was £1.10, and he'd fly higher than that. Here, indoor photography flying. So flying with a background for an indoor photography session. He'd just do everything. He'd do everything well, and very chilled out to be around. Experience days up at Icarus Falconry, 4 years of that. His last 4 years included lots of experience days, so lots of people have worked with Nigel over the years and had the pleasure to fly him. Handsome devil. And these are just a few of the photos I've pulled off social media. So many of these are old, they'll be a little bit grainy, but I hope you enjoy them. And of course, a falconry bird too. Now hunting, I feel and felt all those years ago, despite him being an educational bird, a pest control bird, a display bird, I felt hunting hard in the first season, and Andy hunted on into other seasons, but his first season was going to be the key to making that bond, to making that bird that absolutely trusts you, wants to be around you. I could think of no better way than getting the bird out as a falconry bird, really cement that bond and to look to you as a proper working partner. And I really believe it did that for sure. We saw beautiful places, of course. We saw beautiful winters. I remember a hoarfrost, and the countryside was stunning, and Nigel rode the glove on one leg. It was that cold, but never had any ill effects at all, and of course always kept dry in the cold weather. But we saw some great places together, just him and I, not just all about, at work, the job he was kind of trained for. We still had the relationship of falconry friends, if you like. But we certainly saw some lovely places and all kinds of falconry, and he was very, very good. He also flew well with Zara, the female Harris Hawk, a great team. Wish I could carry hooded on the glove, both birds together. Here he is, look, getting older. Another summer. He never rested. He never got a molt like you think of a traditional falconry bird, sunbathing here. He worked all of the time, all of his life, more or less. And just molted on the run like most of these working birds do. Here he's meeting Zeus back in the early days. The classic shadow falconer. So have a look at this. That was his first ever quarry that he took. First ever. I remember ferreting under a tree line and he was in the tree, but this one's special. This was, Mike asked me to come and help run a hunting day at Icarus Falconry for a paying colleague, a paying guest, if you like. Many years later, I was asked to take some owls and birds of prey to someone's house because their dad was sadly dying of cancer. And he said, I think I know you, and that bird looks familiar. And he said, I think I came on a hunting day with you guys. And he got that photo out. So how lovely that he caught a pheasant in flight for this guy on a hunting day. And then years later, I had the privilege of going to see this guy in his last days and make it very, very special for him. In his early days, he used to do a lot of intelligence tests with Nigel. One was to find food under black flower pots and nothing under red ones. So he never turned the red ones, but knocked over the black ones to get a treat. Out flying with Emily, he actually found a random bit of rubbish and remembered something from over a decade ago. How funny is that? So a lifetime memory when it comes to finding food.